Here's an AFN News update for you. I'm Bronson Woodruff. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said today that Israel needs to pursue an enduring strategic success after its tactical victories against Hamas terrorists. The United States sees a new opportunity to revive ceasefire efforts after the killing of top Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar by Israeli forces in Rafah, Gaza last week. That would not have happened if Prime Minister Netanyahu had given in to President Biden's warning to Israel not to attack any targets in that city. An Egyptian official said that meanwhile, Egypt has suggested the possibility of a short pause in fighting in which Hamas would release a handful of hostages, and humanitarian aid deliveries would be ramped up, especially in northern Gaza. With former President Donald Trump's encouragement, Republicans are voting early again, flocking to the polls for in-person voting ahead of Election Day and helping break records for ballots cast before November in key states like Georgia and in North Carolina. The GOP says it hopes this will fix a mechanical problem that some in the party blame for costing at the 2020 presidential and key 2022 elections. Campaigns usually want their voters to cast ballots ahead of Election Day so they can focus their resources on getting more marginal supporters to the polls at the last minute. Republicans excelled at that before Trump turned against mail-in voting in 2020, convincing his supporters to wait until Election Day to cast their ballots. But the party is again pushing its voters to cast their ballots early, and the former president is largely encouraging the change. Trump told voters in North Carolina on Monday, quote, "I need you to vote and I need you to go to the polls before Election Day because they will try on Election Day to keep you home." Sales of previously occupied U.S. homes slowed in September to the weakest annual pace in nearly 14 years, even as mortgage rates eased and the number of properties on the market continued to climb. House prices increased on an annual basis for the 15th consecutive month. The national median sales price rose 3% from a year earlier to $404,500. And that'll do it for this AFN News Update. Thanks so much for listening. You can find much more news from a Christian perspective on AFN.net. I'm Bronson Woodruff.